Today we're going to be talking about some of the best youth quarterback drills you can do. Now, before we get into the drills, there are a few things that youth quarterbacks need to focus on while they're training. Number one is going to be throwing mechanics and building good habits. And that's what a lot of the drills we'll be discussing today are going to cover. Because a lot of times young guys are just so concerned with getting the ball there, throwing the ball as far as they can, throwing it as hard as they can, and their mechanics are out of whack. They take a long stride, they're dipping their head, and that leads to bad habits down the road. We're trying to create good habits, especially if you are a youth quarterback. Second thing is going to be pocket footwork and drop back footwork. Going to give you a couple drills for that today, but you need to be efficient with your feet. If your feet are on time with throws, if your feet are set and your base is great, you are going to be a more consistent quarterback. And then obviously accuracy. So all the drills that we'll be discussing today will focus on those elements. Now, this first drill for youth quarterbacks is going to be for drop back footwork and pocket footwork. So this is going to be a 3-step and 5-step drop drill, adding in some climbing up footwork into the pocket. So this first cone, you need a set of 4 cones spaced out, I would say maybe about 2 to 3 yards apart. So you're going to start out good under center stance, making sure my butt is down, my chest is up, and we're here. All we're going to do is start off by taking a 3-step drop, and we're going to show you how this drill will look full speed as well. So we go back, it's going to be a 3-step drop, and you're going to settle on this 3rd step, making sure that we're in a perfect base. Back foot is going to be underneath your armpit, 65 to 70% of this weight loaded on your back leg, so we are ready to fire. So again, we're going to start out, it's 1, 2, 3, pause, and then if you have a partner, your dad, whoever, can clap their hands, tell you to shuffle up to the next cone, or you could pause for a split second if you're doing this alone, and then you're going to shuffle to the next cone. Then you're going to reset. Make sure you reset. Do not try to rush through this drill. Then we're going to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Partner's going to tell you to climb up. Then we're going to shuffle up and repeat the process with a 3-step drop and then a 5-step drop at the end. At the end, off of your 5-step drop, you're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plant, and then you're going to throw when your partner calls for the ball or flashes his hand. Like I said, I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. You want to do maybe, I would say, about 3 to 5 sets of this drill. Now also, you guys, we are going to be coming out to 14 more cities across the U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So if you're a youth quarterback, a high school quarterback, or even a receiver and you'd like to train with us, we're coming out to 14 different cities across the country. So if we're coming to a city near you, check out that very first link in the description below. We're going to be coming out to Miami, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada, Portland, Oregon, all over the country, you guys. So if you want some more information, check out that very first link in that description below. Let's get back to these drills. Now, this next drill we're going to be going over is going to solve a problem that so many young quarterbacks have, and that is this long front stride. So a lot of times younger quarterbacks, because you know they're not the strongest guys in the world, especially if you're like ages 9, 10, 11, when you're throwing a route, even a route that's like 5 yards, 10 yards, a lot of times quarterbacks will push off of this back foot, trying to create as much power as they can from their legs. Maybe they play baseball. They know that when you're coming off of a mound, you want to pitch, but that's a lot different when you're throwing a football. Throwing a football, you want to be less of a linear thrower, and you want to be more of a rotational thrower. So when you take this really long stride, what that does is that puts your feet outside of your body frame. So while you might be getting some power from your back leg, you physically cannot rotate at your hips, which is a big power source for a lot of quarterbacks. So you'll take this long stride, and a lot of times, because guys can't rotate, their leg locks out, their back leg pops up. And now here's the difference, because a lot of people will say, well, pitchers throw like that, and they're able to generate power. As quarterbacks, football is a lot heavier than a baseball. Number 2, we're throwing a lot further than a baseball player is going to have to throw. And number 3, we're trying to hit a moving target that's a lot higher than a strike zone, right? So it's a different type of rotation. It is a different type of power. Our power needs to be generated from my lower body, aka my hips rotating through. So when you go to throw, you want to be able to take a short front stride, because that allows your hips to fully rotate. It allows your lower body to keep a slight bend. You can keep your cleats connected to the grass and be more balanced and more consistent on the throw. But also it takes pressure off of my arm. Remember in the beginning of this video, I talked about younger quarterbacks creating good habits, right? You don't want to have bad form, consistently throwing with my arm, elbow, and shoulder, or leading the throw ahead of my hips, because that's going to put a lot of wear and tear on your arm. And over time, that is not going to be a thing that I would say younger quarterbacks, when you transition to middle school ball, high school ball, it's not sustainable. You will not be able to sustain your throwing motion with that type of throwing mechanical motion. Now, this drill helps helps us correct that long stride problem. And this is called a no stride drill. So this no stride drill, what you're gonna do is you need a partner set up, I would say maybe about 15 to 20 yards away. And all you're gonna do, maybe even 10 yards away. Let's keep it at 10 yards. And your front foot is going to be slightly open, like you've already taken a stride to the target. Your back foot's gonna be here underneath your armpit. You're gonna keep 2 hands on the ball, and all you're gonna do is dip into your back leg, separate your hands, and then you're gonna let your hips rotate you through and fire. Almost like how you would hit a baseball. That's how you're gonna mimic this throwing motion. I'm gonna show you how this will look full speed in a second as well. But this drill is great to help quarterbacks eliminate that long front stride. We're taking the stride completely out of the equation. You are rotating back with your shoulders, separating your upper body from your lower body, and you are letting your hips rotate through, bringing the arm through, which promotes good habits, healthy arm habits. I'm gonna show you how this drill is going to look full speed. This next drill for youth quarterbacks is going to be something called your sequence step drill. So now this is going to be working on having a short front stride like we were talking about, but also the timing of your throwing mechanical sequence. This ties in a lot to the reason why you want to have a short front stride. So let me explain. So let's say, for example, like when we throw, how we create power on the ball, like we learned from the last drill, is our power is going to come from our lower body, right? It's not so much about me pushing with my legs, it's more so about my legs being inside of my shoulder frame, so when I take this short stride, my hips can rotate through. Now, it's not just about my hips being able to rotate through, it's about the timing of when your hips rotate through. You have to get to something in your body called separation. A more technical term for that is something called hip and shoulder dissociation. So when you step to the target and your hips are starting to fire through, you want your shoulders and your upper body to stay loaded back. Very similar to like a baseball swing. Like I'm in the batter's box, I step to the pitcher, my bat stays back, and then the hips fire the bat through. That is essentially how quarterbacks want to create power, but we have to get to that separation point. Now, a lot of younger quarterbacks don't get there because they've been taught wrong, or maybe this is just a habit that they have from playing baseball, like we mentioned, or whatever. But a lot of quarterbacks, even if they take a short front stride, when that stride hits, all of their body weight starts to shift forward. They will open up this front shoulder, and when your shoulders, let's put it this way, when your body weight is already onto the front foot and your shoulders are starting to open up, we have no separation, aka no torque. Torque is how you get power on the ball. Torque is how you get more distance on the ball, but with good mechanics. We want distance, we want power, but we want a smooth mechanical motion. So when we go to throw and we take that front stride, your front stride should be separate from your back leg drive and your hip drive. You shouldn't have it happen all at once, because then we can't get to separation. When your body weight is forward, I can't rotate my shoulders. When my body weight is back, I could rotate my shoulders all day long. And I want to get to that hip and shoulder separation point, because that's how I'm able to create torque and power on the ball, right? So this drill works on that, right? So all you're gonna do, it's a 2-part drill. So you're gonna have a partner set about 10 yards away. You're gonna be facing your partner like so. All you're going to do is you're going to take a step with your front foot, and as you step, your hands are going to separate, but it's not this, because that is what we don't want. When your hands separate and your body weight goes forward, then my hips, my shoulders, everything trails behind, and I'm throwing this thing all arm. What we want is we want to separate my hands, but I want my front shoulder to close on the steps. It's a 2-part drill like we said. So first part, step and separate. Keep some weight back here. Second part, we're gonna shoot through, follow through, and throw. So I'm gonna show you how this drill is gonna look full speed, obviously. This is a great drill to work on having the proper throwing sequence for quarterbacks and having the proper hip rotation on time for quarterbacks. Now also, if you are a younger quarterback and you want to learn how you can improve your football IQ and want to learn how you can read defenses, check out that second link in the description below of this video, where you can get access to over 500 plus videos, all based on how quarterbacks can read defenses. We break down coverages, we break down exactly how to look at coverages, and we keep it simple for you younger guys out there watching this video. So if you want to improve your football IQ, learn how to read defenses, check out that second link in the description below. Let's get back to these drills. This next drill for youth quarterbacks is going to be a pocket footwork and pocket movement drill to work on your base, to work on evading a rush, and honestly just being in a position ready to throw at all times. So what you do is you need about 5 or 6 cones, I would say, set up, and maybe about like just a straight line for about 10 to 12 yards. And all we're going to do is we're going to be in a perfect base. You want to emphasize having your back foot underneath your armpit, 60 to 65% of your weight on your back leg, like we talked about in that very first drop drill. So all you're going to be doing is you're just going to be retreating back and pretty much just shuffling around these cones as fast as possible. Now, you're gonna have a partner set up maybe about 12 yards away. Your partner could be right in front of you, your partner could be to the left, your partner could be to the right, whatever he is. I just make sure that you mix it up. You don't have him stay in the same spot the exact same time, but he's just gonna flash his hands, and when he flashes his hands, you're gonna set your feet, and you're going to throw no matter where you were at on this line of cones. And I, of course, I'm gonna show you how this will look full speed, but you're gonna start out here. We're just gonna shuffle back, making sure that I keep good posture, my weight is loaded on my back leg, and all we're gonna do is just work our way around. When it comes down to pocket movement, you wanna keep things simple, especially as a youth guy. It might seem boring, it might seem like, oh, this is just a very basic drill, but guys, you gotta love the basics and you gotta fall in love with the details at this position, because you repping this out will make every other more advanced pocket movement, throwing off platform, throwing on the run, that much easier. So I'm gonna show you how this drill is going to look full speed.